Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? It is late, and I've been listening to my audiobook, so I'm not going to make this a really long vlog tonight. I know I always say that. I said that last night, I think, and then it ended up being like an hour and 40 minutes, but the last two nights have been really long, so I'm going to try to make tonight shorter, like probably like a half an hour or something, just so people can catch up. And then I think I'm going to kind of start doing that, like have one that's longer and then one that's, you know, shorter, and then that way people can catch up and whatever. I know that there are some people out there that like the really long vlogs. There are other people that don't like the really long vlogs. They like the shorter ones. So I'm going to kind of do a mix of both, I think, is what I'm going to try to do. But I just don't have a whole lot to talk about tonight, and to be quite honest, today was so boring that I really have nothing to talk about with today. But, you know, I never know when I turn on the camera where my vlogging is going to take me. So get ready for the adventure. I have no idea. We woke up today and we went to brunch, and it was great. We had a good brunch. There were a lot of people there today, which I thought was kind of surprising. It was kind of lightly snowing all day long. It was totally a day to stay inside. It was not like a day to be like out doing a bunch of stuff. It was cold and it was snowy, and we were supposed to get a bunch of ice tonight, like freezing rain, but it hasn't started yet. So freezing rain is no fun in Indianapolis to drive on, so I'm kind of hoping that we don't get that. But it's dry outside. I mean, it's wet from the snow earlier, but it's not. It's like the roads are pretty dry. They're not like slick or anything. They don't seem like it, at least. But I think we're supposed to have some bad weather tomorrow and Monday, maybe. So yeah, so we went to brunch, and then we came back, and I was going to film a bunch of videos, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna, like I said to Alex, I said, what are you gonna do? And he goes, I don't want to do anything but lay in bed and watch movies today. I go, okay, because he always watches movies on his computer, and he watches a lot of like the Marvel movies and stuff like that, and he goes, I'm just gonna like lay in bed all day long and eat snacks and like candy and watch movies with the dogs. I said, okay, well, I'm just gonna hang out in bed too. So I drove around. I had a friend of mine that I had to talk to in sobriety about some serious stuff that's going on, and then caught up with Mel. Mel and I talked for a long time today. We started thinking about the book that we're going to pick for next month for the book club. And if you're in the book club, it's going to be a pick between two books. I think Mel probably put the poll up already. We're going to either do this book, it's not by Anne Rule, it's by the detective that chased the Green River Killer. So because we took a poll of like 5 people who people wanted to read about, and these are like the top 2. So we're either going to do the Green River Killer, or we're going to do the brand new book out by the daughter of the BTK killer. So it's going to be one or the other of those books. And there's a poll up on Goodreads, and if you guys want to participate, you can participate in the poll, and then whichever book wins is the book that we're going to read. Because people are not enjoying In Cold Blood, and that's why we almost wanted to change it at the last minute, but people had already bought the book, and I was like, okay, we're not going to change the book. From now on, whatever book we say that we're going to read is what we're going to stick to. So, but for next month, it's either going to be the Green River Killer, or, which I don't know anything about either one of these people, or the BTK killer. And I guess she was just on like Dateline or 2020. Tanya watched the interview and said it was really good. Last night, like I was eating some hummus when I got home, and while I was rendering my vlog, and I started watching the Ted Bundy tapes, and I was like, I can't do this tonight. I still have not gotten through them. Can you believe that? I just don't think they're good. And then I started watching that one about the girl that's kidnapped, and the story is so weird. It just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. So I was like, I can't do this either. And so I went back to, I'm watching the Kevin Aquan documentary, the makeup artist, Kevin Aquan, who is a visionary, and I grew up knowing who he was because he did like all the supermodels and all that kind of stuff, and it's really interesting to hear his story. And I didn't know that he was adopted, and that's a huge part of his story. And they have his birth mother on the documentary, and I think it's called Kevin Aquan, Beauty or Beast, or Beauty and Beast. But anyway, it's on Netflix. It's really, really good, and it has like interviews with his dad talking about him coming out and being gay and like why they left the church because the church didn't support that, and they were like really involved in their Catholic church and stuff. So it's really interesting. His dad's real sweet. He laughs at this one part. He's like, he dropped out of high school because he was getting like really bullied, and 2 kids like tried to like run him down with a pickup truck. And so he says he wants to go to beauty school and he needs $900. And so his mom wants his dad to give him $900 to go to beauty school. And his dad tells his mom, I might as well just take that $900 and go throw it out in the sewer out front. Not the sewer, but the drain pipe out front, because it's just wasted money. And he starts laughing. He's like, I had no idea, you know, what it would turn into this huge career. And then he's so proud, and he's like, he has every magazine that Kevin was like ever did the makeup for, and it's just like this entire wall is filled with bookshelves, you know. I think it's so cool when you see like parents that are like proud of their kids' achievements like that, no matter what it is, you know. But so if you want something kind of different documentary, you should go check that out, especially if you like makeup and whatever. I mean, he was definitely a total master, and yeah, so it's, I mean, it's kind of sad, but it's a good story too. It's interesting. I don't know if I talked about this on here, but I think I did, but I watched the Suzanne Barsh documentary too. She's the one that like ran nightlife in New York City from like the, I mean, she wasn't the only one, but she like did this, she did several nights, and one of them was at, I think the Copacabana in New York City. But anyway, she's still like throwing parties. She's like 70 or something, and she looks incredible. She was just on RuPaul's Drag Race. But that was really interesting documentary. I kind of like watching documentaries about people that I don't know a whole lot about, or that people that I'm not like even really like that. I mean, I've loved Suzanne Barsh for a long time, but so that documentary was interesting to me. But they took all of her outfits that she had worn through all the years, and they put them at the Fashion Institute of Technology for a museum opening. That's kind of what the whole documentary is like focused. It's like not about that, it's like about her life, but like that themes the whole documentary. And I love watching Here Comes the Rain. I love watching documentaries, especially when it's about something that I don't know a whole lot about and I can learn about something new. I think that's interesting. There's supposedly this like incredible recovery documentary called Anonymous, and I've never seen it, and all my friends have seen it, and they said it's so good, and I need to see that. I watched the Bill W. documentary that came out years ago. I think it was on HBO, maybe. It bothered me a little bit, honestly. I think it's hard, you know, when you have like people that you like idolize or role models, and you find out very human things about them. But we're all human, you know. So yeah, so then Alex watched movies, and I don't even know what movies he watched. I kept on telling him to watch The Wife, but he had absolutely no desire. People were asking me where I found it. I had to rent it on cable to watch the last half of it. So I paid $5.99 just to see the last half of it, and it was totally worth it. I mean, it was so good. It was that good. And, yeah, it was really that good. He had, like, really no desire to see it. But he doesn't like that kind of stuff. Alex, like, really likes, like, either likes, like rom-coms, chick flicks, or he likes, like action stuff, you know. He watches all of the Marvel TV shows and like The Flash and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I got in. So when I got home, it was like, oh, I laid down at like 6 o'clock, and honestly, I just slept the rest of the evening. I slept till like 10 o'clock. And then I got up and just did some stuff around the house, like was cleaning up the kitchen a little bit, looking up stuff, answering emails that I had to answer, and yeah, I made my whole schedule for the week of all the things I want to get done this week, and I have like this schedule book that I'm like obsessed with. So I went through and I did every day of what I want to get done and what I have to get done for each day, starting with my training tomorrow. I made a commitment to my trainer. He like made me raise my hand and say, I, Peter, like, commit to, that I would be early, because I always walk in, like, right when it starts. And he's like, okay, I want you here to be early from now on and stretched out and ready to go. So I made a commitment that I would be early and that I would come in at least 3 times a week. So starting this week, my goal is to be on time to my, well, I'm always on time, but, like, I'm always, like, right. If it's, like, 1 o'clock, I'm, like, I come in the door at, like, 1 till 1, you know? So he said he wants me there, like, 10 to 15 minutes early. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna work out at least 3 times this week. I'd like to start getting to the gym, like, every day. I really don't have any excuse not to. And I think I would feel a lot better, you know? And then that's tomorrow. And then I don't have anything tomorrow night, so I may do a live stream tomorrow night. And then Tuesday I have my meeting. Wednesday I'm having lunch with a friend of mine. Thursday is Valentine's Day. I love Valentine's Day. And we're going out to dinner with Jason and Melissa. Oh, I wanted to take the long road. I was going to take that way. I didn't do that. Oh, well. And then, I love just kind of, like, there's certain, like, I'll, like, go up that, like, the interstate one way, and then I come back, and there's, like, exits that I like to take, and take, like, the side roads, and my ex's mom, she and her boyfriend at the time, they would, like, drive somewhere and, like, for, like, take, you know, 2 hours to get somewhere on a Sunday afternoon, and then they would call it getting lost. I always thought this was so adorable. And they weren't allowed to use their GPS or anything. They just had to find their way back home. And if they saw something they wanted to stop at, you know, like a candy store or whatever, they would stop, or, like, you know, something, and they would just take all side roads. And that's what they would do on a Sunday. They would just get lost. I thought that was such a great idea. Yeah, because then it's just the two of you in the car together, and you're forced to have, like, a conversation. And I also had this friend back in the day. I loved this idea. That she and her husband, like, every Saturday, like, they would make lunch in the kitchen together, and then they would, like, well, in the summertime, but, I mean, in the winter, I'm sure they did it inside. So they would, like, but I can remember we had the conversation in the summer, because she was like, oh, yeah, he made lunch, and then we went outside. Oh, I was trying to get a hold of her, and she said, I can't talk for the next, like, hour, because we're having our business meeting. And I go, your business meeting? And she was like, yeah, every week we have a business meeting, and he makes lunch, and he brings it out back, or we make lunch together, or whatever, and then we sit on the patio, and we have a business meeting. And I go, like, on Saturdays for an hour, and I go, what's the business meeting? And she was like, I think this is such a fantastic idea, too, for couples. She said, any issues, any arguments we've had through the week, we discuss in a business meeting, and then we don't take it out of there. So if it's like, I'm frustrated because he didn't take the trash out, or he's not helping with the dogs, or if he's upset with me because, you know, I'm on social media too much, or whatever, she's like, you know, then we have that discussion during the business meeting, and we work it out, and we make commitments to what we're going to change and all that. And then she's like, going forward, she was like, you know, we don't bring it up outside of the business meeting. That way, it eliminates any fighting throughout the week. We just bring our issues to the business meeting on Saturday. I was like, that is such a great idea, you know? Do you think that's a good idea? I think it's a really great idea. I think even to do it as a family, you know, like, even if it's not just a couple, but, like, a family could do it. And it wouldn't have to be every week. I mean, you could do it every other week, you know, and bring up issues that are, like, you know, family business issues or whatever. You could discuss chores, you could discuss, you know, whatever. I think it's such a great idea. I mean, to some extent, that's what Alex and I do in marriage counseling, but we don't really argue the way that we used to. I mean, like, back in the day, like, you know, we have these friends of ours that, see, this is what I mean when I, like, sit down and start vlogging. I have no idea where this is going to go. So, we had these friends of ours back in the day. Alex and I fought a lot our first 2 years. I mean, not like, never physical, nothing like that, but just, like, always, like, pissed off at each other for stupid, petty stuff. And our friends were really, really invested in us as a couple. And I remember our friends had us over for dinner. It's actually his birthday today. Our friends had us over for dinner, and they had been together for, like, at the time, like 20 years. So anyway, and dear, dear friends of ours. And she made dinner, and we all sat down and talked, and like they said, we want to have you over, and they wouldn't like really tell us why, so we didn't really know what was going on. So when we sat down, they're like, we want to talk to you, and I was like, okay, and Alex was like, okay, and they're like, we really are invested in you guys as a couple, but you're fighting all the time and whatever. And they told us, they said, if you can make it through the first 3 years of a relationship, you can make it through anything. Like the first 3 years of a relationship are the hardest. And, you struggle with like being on the same page. And if you're really committed to the relationship, or, a lot of times you have like 1 foot out of the door, 1 foot in the door. And it was very true of where we were at that point, and I think a lot of it had to do too with that Alex and I both got in this relationship with neither one of us wanting to be in a relationship, and so, but anyway, they just kept on saying this 3-year thing. And I think at the time we were like at 2 years. And I remember at 3 years, it just was like everything changed for us, it was like so much better. And I mean, not that we haven't had our difficulties. We've had a lot of really shitty things happen in our marriage, and, a lot of shitty things happen since we've been married, with his family, my family, friends of ours, things like that. But you weather those storms together, and I think that's what a real relationship is about, is, working through it and being willing to work through whatever issues may arise. Not being a doormat, not just taking whatever's handed to you, but being honest about your feelings, taking responsibility for your actions, being willing to change, communicate differently, and really doing the work, I think our relationship is so much stronger because of the shit that we've gone through. Had we not gone through those things, I don't know that our relationship would be as strong as it is, honestly, That's not to say that you can't have a great relationship without going through shit, because I know people that have fantastic relationships, and they've always, had a fantastic relationship. But I think for us, we had to go through a lot of stuff, and it's interesting because I used to say that I thought Alex and I were very, very different. He would always say, I think we're very similar, and I think he's right now, I think to some degree, part of the reason why there's been tension in the past, like our first, let's say, 2 to 5 years, was because we were very similar, and it was a lot of who's right, who's not right. I don't fight that fight anymore. I'd rather be happy than be right. And, it's kind of a recovery saying. My sponsors always have said that to me and things in life. Would you rather be happy or would you rather be right? I'd rather be happy. It's not important. And I'm talking about minor arguments over things, I don't even know, like the trash going out kind of stuff. I'm just not willing to be so angry that I'm going to lose days with my husband over that. I'm just not going to, willing to do that. But I will say that at 3 years, not on the dot, but around that time, I think we got in sync, and, we started understanding each other and our patterns better, and I'm really happy that we never gave up on each other. That was kind of a commitment that we made early on. Around that time that we had that dinner, was that we weren't going anywhere. We were willing to brave the storm. And the other thing I would say, in making some relationship advice, if I'm the person to give it, I don't know, is not taking your arguments out in public. And I will say that we did that the first year, but after that, we really didn't. We had a discussion about that we could be arguing in the car to go out, and as soon as we stepped out of the car, it was over. We didn't allow people to see that, and it was good, I think, for that. We had a friend of ours, a really, really good friend of ours at the time, and it was the three of us. We would always go do stuff. We would go pick him up to go out and stuff like that. And oh my God, poor guy. He's still a dear, dear friend of ours. And he was Alex's friend first, and then I met him when we got together. But he had to deal with a lot of shit, when we first got together. And now he's you guys are the couple. And he was it's just as crazy to me, that I remember early days, I never thought you guys would make it. And, yeah, I'm very proud of our marriage. But it's work. Like, a marriage, it is foggy as hell outside. It is, like, a lot of work. You know, but I think all relationships are. I think friendships are, too, you know? Actually, speaking of friendships, I went and picked up Tanya earlier and took her to go get a fountain pop. And, we drove around for a little bit and talked. There was something I was going to tell you guys about. She said thank you for all the birthday wishes. But there was something I was going to say about Tanya. I can't remember what I was going to say. Something funny we were talking about. I was like, where's my phone? There it is. I don't remember. What time am I at? Okay. I don't remember what I was going to talk about with Tanya, but it was something funny. Put a little lip gloss on. I also think as a couple, it's important to have other friends that are couples. You know, I think, like, that was part of the problem, like, at the beginning was I had my friends that were single. He had his friends that were single. But we didn't have a lot of friends together. Like, this couple that I was talking about, like, they were really, like, our only friends at the time that were a couple, like, a married couple. You know, and in, I would say the last 5 years, we've done a lot more stuff with couples, like Melissa and Jason, and then we have this other couple that we're friends with that we go and do stuff with, and another couple that we do stuff with every once in a while that they were in our wedding. And, you know, I think, and like Aaron and Eric that have been on my videos, I think it's important to have other couples that you do stuff with, you know, that you see how they interact. And I think for two reasons, because I think then you realize that, like, all couples, you know, kind of go through tough times and struggle with communication. I mean, when you're sitting at dinner and, like, recently we were at dinner with our friends and Aaron and Eric, and he said he was like he like ordered something for her or something. She goes, I can order for myself. You know, like, just those little things that, like, I mean, those are the, okay, that's a prime example. Like, that thing, like, back in the day, like, if I had, like, ordered something for Alex, like, he would have been like, I can order my dinner, and then that would have been World War III, you know? Like, that stuff today, today he might look at me and be like, oh, so you think, you know, I know what I want, and then I'll just laugh, you know? But, like, when you see other couples do the same thing, then it's like, or couples that argue over where we're going to go for dinner or whatever, you know, then it's like, that's why I think it's healthy to have other friends that are couples and you go through it, you know, like, you see that it's just so completely normal, the difficulties and whatever. But then you also see the good times too, you know? And I think that's the real payoff for a relationship. You know, one of the things our counselor has had us do is that Alex and I were both in long-term relationships before this one. He's had us look at what didn't work in the previous relationships, or what our part was in it not working. Because I think a lot of people talk about, like, carrying baggage into the next relationship, but we don't really ever talk about what that baggage is, or what are we going to do to get over the baggage, you know, or, like, what are we going to do so that, you know, that doesn't happen again in this relationship, and blah, 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 whatever. And I think that, you know, it's important to do that and then take a look at what the baggage is. It stopped. I guess I was at the end. But to take a look at the baggage, you know, like, well, what were your issues in the previous relationship? You know, what did you do or what did you not do that contributed to the relationship not lasting or being healthy? And then fixing that, so you don't just carry the same behavior into the new relationship. And that was one of the things that he had us do. And it was one of the things he had us do too was say, like, okay, what's something that you did with, you know, your, like, what's something, like, he would say to Alex, what's something that Peter does that he's talked about this being a pattern in his past relationship? Or, Peter, what's something that Alex does that he has said is, you know, a pattern in his past relationship? Because sometimes we're not, like, you know, we can't see that within ourselves. And that has been really, really good for us as well. Yeah. That's what we have tomorrow night. We have marriage counseling tomorrow night. Every other week. People are like, don't you think it's so expensive and stuff? Like, well, ours is not too expensive, but I mean, we love our counselor, and the investment, I think, you know, when we first started it a couple years ago, we were going every week, but now we're going every other week. Sometimes we go in between, like, ourselves. Like, he doesn't want me to come in right now until I get my inventory done, but Alex goes in between sometimes, and, you know, it's just great for us, and I don't even see it as, like, I mean, maybe it's because we've made it something that we can afford, like, we've let go of some other things so that we can afford it, because Alex and I are all about budgeting, but, I mean, it's priceless to our marriage, you know? This construction thing, Tanya and I drove through here today, and I said, when are they gonna, like, be done with this construction? I feel like it's been going on for months now through here, and I never see anybody working on it, ever. It's not so foggy over here. So yeah, invest in your marriage, invest in your relationship. I think also, you know, it's like carrying all those little pieces of things, those little pieces of wisdom that you hear from other people, and reminding yourself of that on a daily basis. You know, like, I remember, like, I've talked about this before, but the Toni Morrison Oprah interview, when she's talking about, it's like this thing that she has, like, different mothers on there or something, they're all, like, sitting around, and she says, like, what's something that you learned about being a parent? And she said, I think I just talked about this on here, and she said that when a child walks in a room, we see them with our critical eye. You know, we see them like, are their shoelaces tied? You know, are their pants pulled up? Or is their shirt buttoned correctly? Is their hair combed? But a child is looking at us as, when a child walks in a room, do their eyes light up? That's what they're looking for. Do my parents' eyes, or grandparents, or aunt, uncle, whoever, do their eyes light up when I walk into a room? And Oprah talks about how, like, even as adults, we do that, you know? And then in another segment, Toni Morrison, maybe it's the same one, but I don't think it is, Toni Morrison talks about how it's so pretty right here with, like, the snow, and then, I mean, it literally looks like a Currier and Ives painting. The snow, of course, I'm passing Conner Prairie, which is like this settlement, this prairie settlement from the 1800s, but it's like the snow is out, it's like fog on, like, you know, the hill. It's so pretty. But I'm actually gonna turn around up here. Another thing that Toni Morrison says is, she said, I've talked about this on my Peterson's video, that, you know, when we go to, like, gas stations or grocery stores or whatever, we're always so nice to people. I think I'm just going to take this way. I think I can go this way instead of turning around. That we're always so nice to people. You know, like, even if we're in the worst mood, somebody's like, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. How are you doing? You know, we put on this, like, fake smile, and we just, you know, pleasantries and all that. But we aren't like that with our friends. We aren't like that with our family. Or maybe we're like that with our friends, but we aren't like that with our family. You know, the people that we should be like that with. You know, not fake necessarily, but maybe we should treat the people that we see on a daily basis a little bit nicer, you know? And I always, like, you know, like, that's big for me. When Alex comes home, because Alex is around people all day long and I'm not. So when he comes home, you know, I always am trying to, like, you know, I give him a couple minutes to kind of relax. Like, that's big for him. And, you know, I'll be like, do you want me to get you anything? Glass of water? You know, he's like, no, I'm just going to put my pajamas on and relax for a second. I'm like, okay, you know, and giving him a moment, and then being really sweet to him, because I think that's better entrance back home than if we are, like, you know, like, I remember, like, my mom used to say that my dad would go crazy when he would come through the door and she had, like, a list, or, like, you know, notes of, like, things she wanted to talk to him about that had happened that day or whatever. And she'd say, he'd come in the door and he'd be like, my God, can you give me 5 minutes? Like, I literally just walked in the door. And this did not come out where I thought it was going to come out. I thought this was going to come out. Oh well. This comes out on this road that goes like back up to the interstate. It basically just takes me where I just was, which I said I wanted to turn around, so that's okay. But you know, my mom would say that my dad would complain and be like, you don't even give me 5 minutes to like walk in the door and just kind of like unwind, you know, and I think that's important. I will say this. I need to go to bed because I want to get up for my appointment and be rested tomorrow morning. But from sleeping all day long, I'm not very tired. This is not going to be a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Oh well. I'll be a little tired tomorrow, but... And tomorrow I'm back to posting videos again. I took a day off, you know. It was nice. I could post probably... Rich and I were talking tonight. I was talking to him about, like, people that only post once or twice a week. Like, I don't know what I would do if I only posted once or twice a week. Like, on a good week, if I'm posting every day on every channel, which, like, that never happens, but, like, if I was, like, that, because that's kind of my goal at some point, is to get to where I'm posting 5 videos a day. Although in my review channel, it almost does better when I don't post a video every day. It's like, it kind of gives people time to go to see it or something. But anyway, I said, can you imagine... Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. I said, can you imagine, okay, can I just tell you that my sweatshirt just rode up when I bent over, and I have my heat seater on, and it literally, like, burnt my lower back. Okay, I said, can you imagine just posting 1 video a week? Like, I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. Like, I love making videos so much and coming up with ideas and all that stuff, and, I just don't really know what I would do, you know what I mean? Like, to just post 1 video a week, I'd be, like, at a loss for words. I wouldn't even know, like, what? Like, what am I supposed to do, you know? And he goes, well, you do post a lot of videos. I said, yeah, on a good week, I could post 35 videos if I posted on every channel. And he goes, not to mention that vlog, because I post a really long vlog. And obviously, you know that if you're watching this. Which I think I'm over the 6 minute mark, or the 30 minute mark that I said I was going to stop at it now, but whatever. Passing this Cadillac dealership. I used to want a Cadillac so bad. I wanted a Cadillac Escalade for so long. I can't really even imagine driving one now. And then for a long time I wanted a Cadillac Escalade pickup truck. Feels like February is coming so quick. Or not coming so quick, it's like, I feel like it was just January, now it's February. Before we know it, it's going to be March. And then we're going to be in Miami and Mexico. I'm so excited for that trip. I can't even tell you how excited I am about that trip. So this is basically the exit that I was on about 10 minutes ago. This part is right here. I now like the sound of my turn signal. Do you guys know when I was like talking about how like the sound of a turn signal and I wasn't used to this one? I like the sound of this turn signal now. Tanya said something, she's like, do you miss your little old car? And she goes, there were so many conversations, so many stories told in that car. I said, do not depress me, please. I said, I'm very happy with my new car. I said, you don't need to make me sad. What did I want to tell you about Tanya? It was something we were talking about. It was so funny. What was it? I am like I cannot even remember. Okay, wiggle your toes, Peter. Wiggle your toes. I did sleep so well though today. I call Boo Radley Mr. Bedhead now because his hair always looks like he has bedhead. He's so funny. And he always sleeps like right next to me. And like, so when I was, but Tucker is my little baby lately. He's been so sweet and just always like curls right up next to me. And like if I'm sitting in the chair, oh, he's just such a sweet baby. And PP's been so good. But when Alex is home, like PP is like right next to Alex typically, because he just, you know, because Alex works so much he doesn't get to see him throughout the week. But so I came over, like I went in the bathroom and I was like brushing my teeth and stuff before I like laid down to take a nap. And I didn't even know there was a car next to me. But anyway, so Boo Radley like was laying up against the pillow, and I sleep with 2 pillows, and Alex sleeps with like 2.5, but he sleeps with like 3 pillows. He puts 1 back like this and then 2 down like this. Our pillows are flat. We need new pillows. But anyway, I came back over and Boo Radley was like laying up against the, like, just like lounging, and like almost asleep up against these pillows, and he had his head up like this. And I came over and he looked at me. He didn't even move. He just like put his eyes down like that, like, you better not ask me to move. I was like, Boo Radley. He was like, oh. He makes the cutest little sounds. Dogs are so funny, aren't they? That's what I told Tanya tonight, but this is not the funny part. But I said, like, Boo Radley's starting to like look older to me, and it just makes me sad. Like, I remember when they were just like such little guys, you know, little puppies. Tucker still looks like a puppy to me, but I mean, he doesn't look like he did when he was a puppy. He looks completely different, but that was a oh no, it wasn't. I thought that was oh my gosh. Ah! I need to figure this thing out. You guys, I have like tried so hard to like get this thing to work. So anyway, I thought that was a Cadillac Escalade pickup truck, but it wasn't. But wouldn't that have been funny if it was? Okay, my sweatshirt is riding up again. I'll be happy when winter is over and I can be back to wearing t-shirts in this car while I'm vlogging. Dream. I've had so many people ask me about the Psychic Twins video, and what sucks about it is that we're posting one part of it this week and then the follow-up next week. I'm so tired of potholes in Indianapolis. Okay, so they're literally, I mean, if you could see them right now, they're like all like on the side of the road. It's so bad. But so we filmed 4 videos, and like the first video is them like basically doing like a reading on me, and they do like, we did half on their channel and then the other half on my channel. And then the second one is predictions and stuff, and that's gonna be the second week. But I'm not used to like filming a video and holding on to it. Like, I'm used to like filming a video right away, or filming a video and posting it right away. So it's so weird for me. But it is what it is. I'm excited to see. I haven't even like uploaded and rendered my video. Oh my God, potholes everywhere. I haven't even like uploaded and rendered the video yet to like watch it. So I'm gonna have to do that. Probably tomorrow I should do that. I'm kind of excited to see it. Not to mention that like I gave they have like a videographer that works with them, and I gave him my like, you know, card, and then he just put it in his camera, and they have like a really nice camera. I did notice that though, like, so I had like put it up and then like deleted it because I didn't want it filling up my computer. I know it's stupid, but whatever. And it looked so clear when it was like on there. Was it on there? Where did I see it? Oh, no. I know what I did. I had it in my camera, and I was showing it to Alex, and it looked so clear on my camera. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, this is so clear. How it's like completely different. So I have a feeling that the video quality is going to be like 100% better than like the video quality. I mean, they had like serious camera, filming camera, you know. I think sometimes, like, friends of mine that I talk to, or other YouTubers, and then I'll be like, what do you film on? And they're like, my iPhone. And I'm like, seriously? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, your quality on your iPhone is incredible. I think sometimes it's just as good, you know? I hope we don't get a bunch of bad weather this week. I mean, snow's one thing and it's pretty, but I don't want to get a bunch of, like, I don't want to get an ice storm or anything. All right, listen, you guys, I'm going to get off here. I think I'm probably at close to 40 minutes now, so, and I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to try to film throughout the day tomorrow, so, yep. And I love you. I hope you guys are having a wonderful beginning to your week. If you're somewhere where there's snow and ice and all that, stay warm. If you're somewhere where you're on a sunny beach, that's not fair, but have fun and enjoy it. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.